Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here, and today I'm here to talk with you about Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. So I covered this game earlier this week. I did a little checkout video, just my basic introduction. If you don't know, those videos are usually done after I've played briefly for anywhere between 1 to 3 hours, and then I just, show some gameplay, give my general introduction. Well, I have since finished Brothers, and I wanted to give sort of some closing thoughts now that while the game's still kind of fresh in my mind. First of all, let me just come right out and say it. In terms of gaming experiences, this is probably one of my favorite so far of this year. It's a very short game. The completion only took me about 3 hours. I did the last video after only playing for actually about an hour, because I had heard it was a short game, so I didn't want to get too far down the road. But point is that I have finished the game, and it was, for me, such a fantastic experience. It was very touching. And I really honestly mean that. Emotionally, it was a very touching game. I haven't had that sort of a response from a video game really since The Walking Dead, where I've been so invested in the story and the characters. And that is particularly, I think, of note, given that this game has no real dialogue. The game's conversations that take place between characters are done in video game gibberish, and there's no, there's a story being told, but it's all being told through the gameplay and through the events that are playing out before you. And for that to have sort of an emotional impact that was resonating, I found quite astounding. The other thing that I absolutely adored about this game, there's a couple of things. It tells a good story. It tells a emotional story. It tells an adult story, by the way. Thematically, there are some very adult themes. They deal with some intense themes of loss and just tragedy in this game throughout the course. In fact, at the very start of the game, the opening cutscene is the younger of the two brothers losing his mother. Obviously, it's the mother of both of the brothers, but it's the younger brother with their mom, and she's drowning, and the younger brother is too weak to pull her aboard the little vessel that they're in. It starts out depressing, but the thing is, there are so many high and low notes scattered throughout that it was just a very, it was just sort of a roller coaster of events. There were some really touching and sweet moments in the game, but there are also some, again, profoundly depressing moments in the game as well. But beyond that aspect of things, the visuals are amazing. I really enjoyed, and we're not talking, this isn't like a Crisis level looking video game, but just the setting and sort of the artistic aspect of the game. Just definitely some really breathtaking moments. Specifically, things that come to mind are there's areas where we're in the mountains, and it just the vista view of it was really, really gorgeous. And then also, I think the last thing that I really want to touch on with this game is just the unique gameplay mechanics. The way that the game is played is simple but unique. The fact that you control each one of the brothers with an individual side of the gamepad, so there's the left and right joystick, the left and right trigger, and then also the left and right bumpers for camera control, but controlling each one of the brothers separately really made for some interesting moments, when interacting with the environment and trying to solve puzzles, but also when interacting with vehicles within the environment. So there will be instances, for example, the one that comes to mind is the hang glider moment, where we're flying a hang glider and you've got to shift the weight of the hang glider by moving each one of the brothers to the left or the right side of it. There's also a scene in the game where you're paddling a rowboat, and in the it works like you think it would. There's one person on one side, he can paddle forward or paddle backwards to sort of steer it in the left and right direction, and vice versa for the other side. It made for some very interesting mechanics, and I don't want to go too far into it, but at the end of the game, the way that the game was played, there was a huge impact to the story and the gameplay at the end of the game from what happened, just from how you're playing the game throughout. It was really phenomenal for me, and something, when you're playing a video game, you're not normally thinking about the way the game is controlled, but it really comes through here in this game and adds an extra element of depth, in my opinion, to playing through the title. So the reason I made this video, again, I wanted to follow up to give some concluding thoughts, but I also just wanted to give this game my wholehearted recommendation. If you care even the slightest bit about video games as a way of telling a story, or if you like to experience a video game that plays differently and feels differently from the typical humdrum that we get on a regular basis. Not that there's anything wrong with the regular video games that come out and the big titles that come out, but this game does something different, and it does something, I think, that's quite meaningful as well. So yeah, if you love video games and you're even slightly interested in Brothers, it gets my recommendation. Flat out, one of my favorite games of this year. Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, guys, that's about it. Check out Brothers. Please, please, please check out Brothers. It's a cheap title. It's a quality title. I think it's well worth the value for even a short 3-hour game. I think is well worth it, and it's definitely a game that's going to resonate with me and something I'll remember for quite some time. All right, thanks so much for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe, and as always, keep watching and keep owning.
Hey!